Valerie. I live in New Hampshire. I've lived in the same um, property for over 20 years. And I've had a lot of challenges here. I've lost my water. I have a septic tank, but I don't use it. I use a different composting system. Um, it's been quite a lot of challenges, but a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun here, and I just want to share a lot of the stories that I have because I have a lot of stories. Because living alone, I'm 68, you create a lot of stories during that time, and I think we all have so many stories that, somebody's going to be interested in. If it's just that, they can resonate with it, they're like, oh, I've done that too, and that was so much fun, and, I don't regret any of it. And maybe it will just help somebody to not feel so alone, because sometimes I feel alone, but not alone. So I thought I would get on here and share some stories, and maybe my kids will go back and be able to, or my grandkids, great grandkids might go back and want to listen to some of the things that I've talked about. That, some of the things that I've had the experience of, because you don't get to really know. You don't know how much, I don't know how long I have to live, and maybe I won't be around to share those stories in person when they're adults, and maybe they would like to hear them, and maybe somebody else out there would like to hear them too. Um, so here, just give it a shot. I see so many people doing it, and why not? And maybe you'll come along and um, really enjoy some of the stories I have. I have stories with animals. I've had so many animals. I raised shepherds for a few years, and then I ended up having 6 that I kept. And there's been a lot of stories with them. And then cats started showing up, and I still have a cat that's been here. She was a feral cat. She's been here for over 16 years. And, she had a litter of kittens, and I kept them all. There was only 3. Um, there's been times when I've had no vehicle, and I managed to get along, get around, and get what I needed. It's like I don't feel like we don't need in society, we don't need all these things that we think we need. Sometimes I get crabby and, just in a place of like exhaustion, and just like, all right, I just need to take a break, slow down. That's all. And then it's, oh, okay, the problem gets solved. So 2 years with no vehicle. And then before that, there was always vehicles that were just, I have them for a couple of years, and then they would die and blah, blah, blah. And now I've had one for 5 years because I decided to buy one and pay a payment, but I'm almost done with that. And it's been worth it, but I will enjoy not having a payment anymore. So I've been able to get around. It's just been lots of things. I learned how to use a wood stove when I had no experience whatsoever, and I really taught myself because there's been nobody here to say, hey, this is how you run this thing. So YouTube has saved me in that way. I've been able to learn so many things on YouTube. I have a neighbor that is a veterinarian, and she supported me with my animals when I had no money. Just recently, I had to have one of my cats put down, and she so compassionately, kindly took care of it for me. I mean, she came over here. So my animals have been able to die here, which is such a gift to them and such a gift to me. And I know that so many people have gone through that, and it is the best way, the kindest way, I think, unless the animal's used to going to the vet. So, there's all of that, and there's all of, I've grown spiritually because of this experience. I've learned things that I didn't know were even, I didn't even know about. I had no clue. I moved here when I was 45, you know, separated from the ex right after. So then I was like, oh, I'm on my own. For the first time ever, I'm living alone, which was absolutely fantastic for a long, long time. And I had so much fun and did so many things. I had to clean up a lot of the property here, and I have 10 plus acres right on a conservation um, edging the back, and the back side of the property and the other side, one side of it, and then I have a neighbor on the other side, but they're not real close. Um, so it's just been quite the journey. And I think we all have stories to tell. We all have stories that somebody wants to listen to. And I hope that somebody out there will want to listen to my stories because I love telling my stories. I have a friend that lives in Scotland that I'm always telling my stories to. It's like, well, why don't I get on YouTube and see if somebody wants to hear my stories? And if not, I'm enjoying telling them. So it's a win-win, really. So if you want to come along, follow me. If you want to give me a like, give me a subscribe, whatever that is, or just keep in touch somehow. Um, there isn't always going to be happy stories. There's going to be other sad stories because there's been sad stories too, but that's life. Life is not always, rainbows and butterflies, which are a big part of my story too. They're all the other parts too, and the other parts matter just as much. I've really learned that there's so much there in the sad stories as there is in the happy stories. And so I'm probably going to be quite vulnerable here and very authentic. I don't know how to edit, so I don't plan on doing that right now. Maybe in the future, if I say something that I really don't want on here, I will, but right now that's not happening. If I can just get them posted, I will be pretty pleased with myself. So hopefully this resonates with somebody and you can enjoy my peace with me out here because it is the most peaceful place I've ever been. And I don't really plan on ever leaving here, no matter what the situation is here. I don't have running water. Like I said, I have a septic tank, but I don't use it. And it's just it's a normal way of life now. I have a well. I can pump the water up from my well. So that's a plus. But I catch a lot of rainwater too. And maybe I don't do it in the most efficient way, but I do it and it works. And, I've had a lot of beautiful gardens. I used to have chickens. I don't anymore because a mink got them all. So that's a sad story. And I think we just don't want to go back. There's a fear of going back to that because there's a lot of wildlife here, and not having any dogs now, I feel like they protected the space, and now I don't have that, and I don't want to have chickens and have them get taken by something. But cats keep showing up. Cats just keep showing up here. Okay, if you've listened this long, maybe you can come back and listen to another one because I'm going to post more. I'm going to really make the attempt to do this because I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I hope you enjoy my stories because I really enjoy telling them. I really do. Okay, take care. Hope to see you soon. See you next time. Bye.